Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Gooner. Welcome to another show. Before I get into today's show, I want to talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, the schedule going forward, which is an important thing I want to talk about. So I'm going to be, like I said this in my earlier stream. So going forward, I'm going to be doing a stream at 10:30 a.m. is going to be my transfer show. 10:30 a.m. UK time. So that's going to be every single day going forward for the foreseeable transfer window. And then this show at 4 p.m. is just going to be a general, like I'll pick a topic and we'll discuss it. Obviously, while the transfer is going on, it's probably going to be about transfers. And then when the season starts, it could be, it could be something else. But listen, that's going to be 4 p.m. And then obviously with the watch alongs, they're going to be on as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on this channel. So do subscribe if you are new, and do smash a like on the video. I'd really appreciate that. Also, 7:30 p.m. tonight, going live, watch along of RB Leipzig versus PSG. So going live at 7:30 p.m. So be sure to tune in. Listen, you guys are getting lots of content from me today. So yeah, listen, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Listen, I'm having a brilliant day. I went out to the pub earlier today, had a nice bit of lunch and a couple of pints down the pub, which was rather nice. So yeah, it was pretty decent. But anyway, I am going to get to some of your chats very, very shortly, but let's get into what I was going to talk about. And as the title says, what players do you realistically think Arsenal can get rid of this summer? Now, we've been linked to quite a lot of incomings, from the likes of Coutinho, to Partey, to Gabriel Magalhaes. Probably butchered his name, but oh well. But so far, there's not much in the way of outgoings. Now, I said earlier on my transfer show, when I was talking about Gabriel incoming, and I was also talking about Ceballos, and I was talking about all the players we've been linked with. I said earlier that actually what's most important, and what's potentially more important in bringing in players, and that is quite important. It is important that we bring in the right players, and it's important that we bring in players that suits Arteta's system. But what I said to you guys earlier is what's more important is the outgoings, because it's all well and good bringing the players in who are going to improve our team, but you look at our squad at the moment, and we've got a lot of players, especially in that centre-back position. We've got I think we've got 8 or 9 centre-backs. Now we're bringing in another centre-back. So we need to start shipping out some of this deadwood before we start thinking about bringing in, players like Partey and players like, maybe bringing Ceballos back in. So yeah, we need to bring in. We need to get out players before we can think about bringing in, and not only to reduce the number of players in our squad, but to also generate funds. Now let's take a little look at some of the players that have been linked with a move away. So, you've got the likes of Callum Chambers. You've got the likes of Sead Kolasinac. I know a lot of people want to see Bellerin leave the club. Listen, I wouldn't be against Bellerin leaving the club. I think he's done, to be quite honest, as a right back. You've got Granit Xhaka, who's another potential one that a lot of people would like to see leave the club. You've also got Lucas Torreira, who is not happy at the club. He's made no secret of the fact that he would like to go back to Italy. I know he struggled to adjust to the weather. Listen, I'm English, and even I struggle with English weather because it is shit. So yeah, not surprising that he wants to leave, and he just really hasn't settled. So you've got Torreira, then obviously you've got Guendouzi, who, listen, started his career very well under Unai Emery. He was getting played week in, week out. Not quite done it under Arteta. Massively fell out with Arteta. You know, we know that he had that little thing after the Brighton game where he was just, yeah, his attitude was all wrong. And since then, he's just been left out the squad. So it does look like that he's going to be a player that that moves on in this window. And then obviously you possibly maybe got Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, who could also maybe potentially leave the club. So there's an awful lot of players that need to go. Now, having said all of that, we're not going to get rid of all these players in this transfer window. We're not going to get rid of them all. So it comes down to who needs to leave the club. Oh, and obviously we got the main guy, the cancer of the football club, Mesut Ozil. Listen, that guy is not leaving. That guy is just not leaving. That guy and his circus and everything else is just not leaving. So yeah, listen. I know he's most people's number one choice to leave the club. I know that that's what most people would like to see go, but listen, it's not happening, is it? He's obviously digging his heels in, and the club are obviously trying to force him out, and it's just a messy situation. And once he leaves the club, we can, you know, the shackles will be lifted off Arsenal. I do believe that. But yeah, who do you think we could realistically get rid of? Me, if we see, like, I know that Callum Chambers has been linked with a permanent move to Fulham. I will be happy to see him leave. Guendouzi, I think, is probably an important factor who could potentially leave the club, and I would like to see that, if not for nothing else, but to generate a bit of funds so we can maybe go after somebody like Thomas Partey. Oh, and also Lacazette's been linked with a move away. I forgot to say that. Now, do you know what? I sort of sit on the fence a little bit with Lacazette because I think he's got a talent. He is a talent. You know, he's okay. He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't score as many goals as Aubameyang does, but his hold-up play is really good. And you take him out of the team, we kind of lose a little bit of that. But again, on the other hand, he would also generate a good bit of money. So what do? Do you keep hold of him, or do you look on it and say, if we do get rid of him, he could generate a bit of funds? Because let's be honest, we need money right now. And if we're going to bring in some decent players, we need to generate some funds. And at the moment, it's, you know, there's no reports that either. I know that he's been heavily linked with Juventus, but there's no real concrete reports of anybody leaving the club. Oh, and then there's also Elneny and Mkhitaryan. I forgot about those two players. I know that Mkhitaryan, his likely destination is going to be Roma, so that will probably get done. But I want to ask you guys, who do you think we can realistically get rid of this summer? Because we ain't going to get rid of all these players. I've listed maybe about 10 to 11 players that we could probably ship out. So who do you realistically think we can get this summer? Not get this summer, get rid of this summer. Jesus Christ, I'm getting confused already. And it's 4:00 in the afternoon. Do smash a like on the video. Do hit the subscribe button. And yeah, like I say, before I get into some of your comments, which I'm going to do very shortly, do check out the watch along later this evening. I'm going to be on air from 7:30 p.m. So yeah, join me for that one. So right, let me get into some of your comments. Let's have a look here. And my speech has died. What a surprise. My speech dies more than flipping Mesut Ozil's footballing career. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look here. Aha, there we go. And we are back in the building. So I've been going for just over 10 and a half minutes. Currently 9 of you watching live, so come on, do fire them likes up. And I'm going to read some of your chats. Big up Miss Melina. Big up John. The Revanite. Hope you're all right. Big up Simpy. And just to say as well, yeah, Simpy's joining me for the watch along this evening. So yeah, it's going to should be a good laugh as always. Big up Melina. Yeah, Melina makes a good point, guys. Do turn on the notification bell, because I've noticed I've got a ton of subscribers that probably don't turn on the notification bell. So do hit the notification bell so you don't miss a trick. Big up Taib. Hope you're well, mate. Let's have a look here. Big up Steve Wismark. Hope you're well. Let's have a look here. Big up Nitesh, who's in the building. Nitesh. He said PSG should spank Leipzig. Do you know what? I actually think it's going to be a more difficult game than what people are predicting. Listen, Leipzig did really well against Atletico Madrid. So yeah, you know, they did really well against Atletico Madrid. So I think it's going to be a difficult game for PSG. I think it's going to be a lot more open and a lot more even than what people think it's going to be. Big up Ilias, who's changed his name. Live and breathe football. Big up Grant. Grant's in the building. So he says we can get rid of Chambers, Holding, Lacazette, and maybe El Neni. Yeah, those are not bad. Those are 4 good players, and they would probably generate a bit of money as well, especially Laka. And then obviously Guendouzi as well. We need to get rid of Guendouzi. But yeah, that's you know, that's a really good shout of players who we could get rid of. And he said Torreira. Yeah, listen, I think Torreira's done. I think he's had enough. I don't think Arteta sees him in his plans, especially if they're looking at upgrading that position and getting Partey. So yeah, listen, Torreira, I think he could. He could also generate a good bit of money as well. We could get at least 30 to 40 mil for him. Ilias says we'll probably only get rid of 3 players this summer. The club don't have the balls to get rid of a lot of this deadwood at the club. Well, that's what remains to be seen, doesn't it? Because, you know, there is a lot. Like I said, I listed 7 or 8, 9 players. And listen, we ain't going to get rid of all of them in one transfer window. So, yeah, it just comes down to how much ambition the club have got. And it just comes down to if they really want to get their number 1 target, which is Partey, obviously. So big up Steve. He said players he could see get rid of are Guendouzi, Xhaka, Mustafi, Torreira, and Holding and Mustafi. Yeah, I forgot about Mustafi. Do you know what? So Mustafi, Holding, Torreira, Guendouzi, and Xhaka. Yeah, that's not a bad shout as well. All of them players would generate a fair bit of cash as well. And So yeah, all of them players would generate a fair bit of cash. So if we get rid of all of them, we're probably looking at about maybe 60 mil for all of them, which would pave the way for Thomas Partey, wouldn't it? Let's be real.
Thanks, comma. It is certainly a life change.
Let's have a look here. Where was I? The sentiment given to some of these players are the reason we are where we are. A lot of these players have been here too long, says Ilias. Yeah, you're right there, mate. And we need to get rid of it. We need to drop this sentimental bullshit and start being ruthless. Steve says he assumes Laka will stay unless the price is right. Yeah, we could probably get a decent wedge for Laka as well. You know. Big up Sam Cow in the chat. Hope you're well. So he says a lot depends on Edu and company, but we've identified players that are not crucial to this team. Torreira, Mustafi, El Neni, Holding, and Luiz. Yeah, do you know what? Actually, I forgot about David Luiz, and you know, I know we've only just signed him up, but if we end up selling him for a good bit of weight, you know, a good bit of money, then you know, that would potentially have been a good bit of business by Arsenal if we do sell him for a bit of money. I know we've only just signed him up to a year's deal, but that would generate a good bit of money. You know, that would generate a fair bit of money, and that would be good. You know, that would be good for the club because it means that they will actually be thinking like an actual football club. Ilias saying 40 million for Laka and then he can go. Yeah, I'll be happy with that because most of that will probably go on Partey. Let's have a look. Steve said he's not sure anyone would be interested in Bellerin. His form's dropped so much. Yeah, I agree with that. Although I would like to see Bellerin leave the club because he is shit.
Can't wait till we can.
Nitesh said he's got PSG players in his fancy team. He can hope. Yeah, listen, I think it will be an open game, Nitesh, to be quite honest. So yeah, he's saying about the Leipzig game tonight. Sam Coe said Leipzig structure would mean it'd be end to end, but not that wide a gap. Yeah, listen, I agree, and yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see tonight. Remember, guys, watch along 7:30 p.m. Do turn on the notification bell and do tune in because gonna have you know, it's going to be a great watch along. I think it'll be a really entertaining game this evening. And like I said, the new structure going forward: 10:30 tomorrow is the transfer window, transfer show, and then this stream at 4 p.m. and along with any other watch alongs and that. So let's have a look here. So Steve's saying he's picking PSG to lose in an upset, and he's going for a score prediction of 2-0. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look here. So Steve's saying if we get rid of more than 3, he will be surprised. Yeah, I would as well, to be fair. Big up Tyrone in the chat. He's saying Juve are offering Regani for Bellerin. I don't rate this Regani guy. I'm going to have to be honest. I don't think he's any good, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think of him, but I don't think he's any good. There are rumours that Louise might be going out on loan. I don't know. I don't get that, to be quite honest. I would sell him. Why would you sign him up and then loan him out? How much would the loan fee be, though? It'd only be like 10 mil, wouldn't it? So I don't see what the point. I don't see the point in that. So Steve says, and I agree with you, Steve, to be quite honest with you. He says that he can see a lot of the Deadwood running down their contracts due to lack of interest. Yeah, I think that's what will happen. I think next summer you'll see a lot of these players just walk out the club for nothing. You know, that's probably what's going to happen. But it's, listen, we just have to wait and see, don't we? We just have to wait and see. But I can see that as well. I can see that as well, Steve, to be honest. He said Regani is Mustafi 2.0. Is that the Mustafi under Arteta, or is that the Mustafi under Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery? So yeah, listen, that's if it's the Mustafi under Arteta, then great. But if it's the Mustafi under Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger, then yeah, not so good. So listen, guys, do smash a like on the video. I've been going for over 20 minutes now. Currently 10 people watching live. Do subscribe if you're new to the channel. And remember, tomorrow, no, sorry, not tomorrow, this evening, I'm going to be back with a watch along for PSG versus Leipzig. So be sure to tune in at 7:30. Going on air at 7:30, me and Simpy, and I'm waiting for confirmation on potential other guests, but it's definitely myself and Simpy. So do tune in there at 7:30, and then tomorrow I'll be back again at 10:30 in the morning. I'll be back with another stream, and then at 4 p.m. I'll be back with another stream, and I think there's potentially another watch along tomorrow as well. But I'm not entirely sure. I know there's a couple of other channels doing a watch along. But listen, I'll let you guys know. So yeah, do subscribe to the channel. Do like the content, and do turn on that notification bell, because that's really important. You don't miss any of my content. And also go and check out my other platforms. My Facebook page, The Blind Gooner. Please go and put a like on that page. And my Twitter is The Blind Gooner on Twitter as well. So yeah, listen, until this evening, all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and I'll chat to you all later. See you all at 7:30. Take care, guys.